Early Start with Rahel Solomon, next on CNN.
Market prices suggest a very real risk of recession.
I call it the self-made Donald Trump recession.
As long as the president keeps changing his mind, the market will keep selling off.
If the Menendezes acknowledge the lies that they have told and persisted in for over 30 years, then we will certainly evaluate the quality of that sincerity and decide whether or not it's real or fake.
Nobody has found her. We don't know where she is.
It's definitely really, concerning because it could happen to anyone.
Who would think it would be a girl from Pitt?
And we begin with that turmoil and uncertainty rattling markets around the globe and here at home following that major sell-off on Wall Street. I'm Rahel Solomon in New York, and this is CNN.
I'm Christina Macfarlane in for Rahel Solomon. It's Tuesday, March 18th, 9 a.m. here in London, 5 a.m. in New York, and straight ahead on Early Start.
The fragile ceasefire appears to be over. Israeli airstrikes pounding Gaza over the past few hours.
It's been absolutely horrific. Nothing close to anything I've experienced before.
U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin are set to speak by telephone on Tuesday.
We're getting down to a very critical stage. We want to get the whole Russia-Ukraine thing done.
The SpaceX Crew 9 Dragon capsule is now en route back to Earth's surface.
Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore begin their belated trip home.
Turning now to a troubling health trend in the US. According to a CNN tally, there have been at least 320 measles cases reported this year, meaning the number of cases just 3 months into 2025 has already surpassed all of last year's total. The high number of cases is driven by a multi-state outbreak, with Texas alone reporting 259 cases this year. New Mexico trails with 35 cases, but experts say this is probably a severe undercount. Meanwhile, health officials are bracing for this outbreak to unfold as disinformation threatens already low vaccination rates. Joining me now from Washington, Dr. Jonathan Reiner is a CNN medical analyst and a professor of medicine and surgery at George Washington University. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. I'm Rahel Solomon, and here are some of the stories we are watching for you today. South Korea's Constitutional Court ruling unanimously in favor of removing impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol. This comes after months of political turmoil over the ousted president's decision to briefly impose martial law back in December.
Why wouldn't you do it? You wouldn't do it because it's a bribe.
The overarching theme of Combs's defense strategy is going to be that all of these relationships were consensual.
We're not here to talk about him being bad. We're here to talk about him being a criminal.
All right, we begin this hour with President Donald Trump's trip to the Middle East, his first major overseas trip since the start of his second term. Right now, he is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he received a royal welcome, greeted by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the tarmac. We do expect to see him again shortly, beginning to participate in state royal ceremonies there, a coffee and a tea ceremony. Of course, we will bring you those live pictures and provide analysis once it happens. But several Trump administration officials say that
President Donald Trump is ramping up his rhetoric against Vladimir Putin.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. I don't know what the hell happened to Putin.
It's Memorial Day in the U.S.
When is the unofficial start of summer? 45% say it is this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Yes!
And we begin this Memorial Day Monday with the latest instance of Donald Trump's tariff whiplash. The U.S. president is now walking back threats on the European Union. He has announced that he is delaying a 50% tariff on European goods until July 9th. As recently as Friday, President Trump said that he was, as he put it, not looking for a deal with the EU and that their tariff rate would go into effect next Sunday.
Well, very good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and around the world. I'm Becky Anderson live in Abu Dhabi for you. Straight ahead on Early Start.
New details about the U.S. military's operation against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran.
There's been a lot of discussion about what happened and what didn't happen.
If retooling means I can get answers to what I consider to be fundamental questions, I'm open to it.
We don't want to have grandstanders where 1 or 2 people raise their vote. We don't know.
Members of the U.S. House set to learn more today about the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites in what will be a classified briefing from the Trump administration. Senators came away from Thursday's session with many Republicans saying it would take Iran years to rebuild its program. Democrats had a different takeaway, that the damage to Iran's sites could be reversed within months. Well, the Pentagon says the mission went as planned and it's confident all bombs hit their targets. But there was no update from them on damage assessments. The U.S. top general played video for bunker buster tests, not the actual strikes on Iran. But when asked about the damage, he deferred to U.S. intelligence agencies. Thanks for watching. You've been watching Early Start with me, Becky Anderson, in Abu Dhabi. CNN This Morning starts right now.
I'm MJ Lee at the White House, and this is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm MJ Lee in Washington. Iran's ambassador to the UN says his country's uranium enrichment will never stop because Iran has what he calls an inalienable right to do so for peaceful activity. The comments on CBS News' Face the Nation came 1 week after the U.S. launched strikes on several key Iranian nuclear sites. Now, despite Donald Trump's claims that those attacks set back Iran's nuclear ambitions by decades, the head of the UN nuclear watchdog agency says Iran could begin enriching uranium again in a matter of months. Thank you for joining us for this hour of Early Start. I'm MJ Lee in Washington. I'll be back with more news after a quick break. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm MJ Lee. Rahel Solomon is off. It's Friday, July 4th, 5 a.m. here in Washington, D.C. And straight ahead on Early Start.
President Trump celebrated the passage of his landmark policy bill.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory.
It's a crime scene.
Donald Trump told reporters he's expecting Hamas to respond within 24 hours to the latest ceasefire proposal.
That day will come too late for more than 80 killed in just one day.
The Archbishop of Washington is slamming President Trump's immigration crackdown.
It's morally repugnant.
We begin here in Washington, where President Donald Trump is getting his Independence Day wish. He'll sign his massive tax and spending bill into law today at the White House. The president took a victory lap at a rally in Iowa on Thursday, calling the bill a phenomenal victory for the American people. He also railed against Democrats, none of whom voted for the bill, saying he hates them because they hate their country.
That dramatic jump from 18 to over 170, known to be missing in Kerr County alone, came as a total shock.
The more time that passes, it becomes harder and harder to become optimistic, but we're not stopping.
President Trump's comments about his Russian counterpart at that cabinet meeting on Tuesday were really so striking.
I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much right now.
President Donald Trump sitting down for a second meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And we think we're going to have it solved pretty soon, hopefully with a real solution.
More than 5 days after flash floods swept through central Texas, search and rescue operations are still underway, despite fading hopes of finding anyone still alive.
Questions remain about how much officials were prepared, how much officials anticipated here in Texas in the lead up to the storms.
New internal policy enacted by Homeland Security Secretary Christina requiring her personal approval on any expense above $100,000.
We're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate.
Italy is hosting this Thursday and Friday the 4th Ukraine Recovery Conference.
President Trump also talked about potentially sending more Patriot missiles to Ukraine.
We begin in the U.S. state of Texas, where recovery efforts continue in the wake of deadly flash flooding over the weekend.
U.S. President Donald Trump will head to Kerrville, Texas in the hours ahead to survey the aftermath.
I saw children floating in the water begging for help that we could not reach.
I signed an order that will end birthright citizenship.
This is the latest of many judges who have said that this executive order appears to be unconstitutional.
I just spoke to Mahmoud Khalil in the first interview he's given to CNN since being released from detention.
The moment you enter such facilities, your rights literally stay outside.
It is 5 a.m. in Kerrville, Texas, and in the hours ahead, U.S. President Donald Trump is set to visit the region to survey the aftermath of the devastating floods there.
Central Texas is awash in even more heavy rain just a week after deadly flash flooding.
The rain putting a pause on all those search and rescue operations.
New reporting from a controversial new detention center in the Florida Everglades.
Hunts of immigrants with no criminal charges in the United States are being held at Alligator Alcatraz, according to an investigation.
U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to make a major announcement on Russia in the hours ahead, and he's teasing the possibility of imposing sanctions. It comes after Moscow hit Ukraine with escalating drone and missile attacks.
The U.S. president has fired off a furious response to a new report on the Jeffrey Epstein saga.
Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency.
In a move that has shocked and confounded the entertainment world, CBS said it is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert next May.
I really think that this is financial. The current model of television does not support that.
We are following two major developments in the investigation surrounding convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, a story President Trump has repeatedly tried to downplay.
The Trump administration's global trade war, it is intensifying.
We're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country.
No, she wasn't stolen. She was preyed upon.
Donald Trump says he wasn't aware of what Jeffrey Epstein was really up to all of those years ago. But Virginia Giuffre's family wants answers.
Fellow officers, friends, and family gathered to honor fallen NYPD officer Didarul Islam.
The purpose brought you here, to these streets, to this city.
Dozens of countries across the world are reeling from the new tariffs announced by President Trump for what he says is for the benefit of the U.S. economy. Despite administration officials insisting that today was definitely tariff day.
Near to these high-level waste tanks. And actually, there's a third thing. There's an environmental impact statement process going on about this plutonium pit production. And the draft EIS on that's going to be out next year, and the public can comment. So people need to be aware about that.
Tom Clements in South Carolina. We are out of time, but thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us here on Early Start. I'm MJ Lee in Washington, D.C., and CNN This Morning starts right now. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm MJ Lee and Rahel Solomon is off. It's Thursday, August 14th, 5 a.m. here in New York. And straight ahead on Early Start.
Well, the countdown is on to this critical summit between President Trump and President Putin, and President Trump is tamping down expectations.
I've had a lot of good conversations with him. Then I go home and I see that a rocket hit an apartment building and people are laying dead in the streets.
There will be a significantly larger National Guard presence all around the city of Washington, and they are starting to activate 24/7 operational stance.
I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will.
Over 1.3 million people tuned in live on YouTube to watch Taylor Swift on her boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce's podcast.
And she really peeled back the curtain on her personal life, on her relationship with Travis, and on her new era.
Right now.
Welcome to the team, recruits. I'm Christina, head of Homeland Security.
Well, she seems nice. Okay, very pretty.
A few years ago, I had to put my puppy down by shooting it in the face. Because sometimes doing what's important means doing what's hard.
Paramount says this was South Park's highest rated episode since 2018 and got the biggest audience shares in the series' history. You can catch the next episode on August 20th. And thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm MJ Lee in New York, and CNN This Morning starts right now.
Morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Danny Freeman. It is Monday, August 18th, 4 a.m. here in Atlanta, and straight ahead on Early Start. Air Canada flight attendants are defying their government's back-to-work order. More than 10,000 will continue their strike for higher wages and pay for time spent while planes are on the ground. Canada's jobs minister, who issued an order for arbitration, says the two sides are at an impasse and need help to resolve it. More than 99% of the airline's flight attendants voted for the strike, and they say the government is giving Air Canada exactly what it wants. The U.S. Postal Service says it will issue a commemorative stamp honoring former President Jimmy Carter. The Postal Service plans to release the Forever Stamp in Atlanta on October 1st, which would have been his 101st birthday. The executive director of the Friends of Jimmy Carter says this stamp will give the world an opportunity to share his legacy with others on a daily basis. Love that. Other news now, Star Trek is celebrating its 60th anniversary with new action figures. The show first aired, of course, in 1966, and this new set, future sets will include favorites like Kirk, Spock, and Captain Janeway. I feel like that's going to be a hot seller. And I like this story right here. The best Pokemon players, or trainers, gathered in Anaheim, California over the weekend for the 2025 Pokemon World Championships. They competed in multiple games featuring, of course, the popular characters. I see Pikachu right there, with exclusive merchandise and special appearances from everyone's favorite Pokemon. CNN's Rick DiMagella was there to catch them all.
1, 2, 3.
A giant inflatable Pikachu welcomed competitors and spectators to the 2025 Pokemon World Championships in Anaheim, California.
I'm Danny Freeman in Atlanta. I'll be right back with more news after a quick break. And welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Danny Freeman. Rahel Solomon has the morning off. It is Monday, August 18th, just about 5 a.m. here in Atlanta, and straight ahead on Early Start.
President Zelensky.
We have to stop the killings. Putin has many demands, but we do not know all of them.
Some of the organizations bragging about and involved in acquiring these visas have strong links to terrorist groups like Hamas.
Son of Jor-El. We were beginning to think you were a coward.
I'm not a coward, Zod.
Then die as you deserve to!
Our top story this morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is gearing up for a return visit to the White House today, where he'll meet with President Donald Trump amid a renewed push to end the war with Russia. Now, Rattlers competing with rookie Tyler Shuck to be the Saints starter. All right, can't wait to see what happens there. And just before we go, the Indiana Fever brought the heat to the Connecticut Sun on Sunday, but it wasn't without a fight. Sunday's matchup marked the team's 13th straight game without star guard Caitlin Clark, who's out with a groin injury. And against all odds, Indiana managed to bounce back from a 21-point deficit in the third quarter to win 99-93 in overtime against Connecticut. Incredible what they're able to do. Again, still without Caitlin Clark. All right, thanks so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm Danny Freeman here in Atlanta. CNN This Morning starts right now. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Danny Freeman. Rahel Solomon is off. It is Tuesday, August 19th, just about 5 a.m. here in Atlanta. And straight ahead on Early Start. Just awful there. Meanwhile, the head of the U.S. House Oversight Committee, James Comer, says the Justice Department will begin providing records from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation this coming Friday. Now, it comes after former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr appeared before the committee on Monday. He's one of several former high-ranking officials subpoenaed by Comer to testify about what they know, if anything, about the sex crimes committed by Epstein. CNN's Evan Perez has more. Thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm Danny Freeman in Atlanta. CNN This Morning starts right now.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Erica Hill. Rahel Solomon is off. It is Thursday, August 21st, 5 a.m. here in New York.
No one should be in the ocean.
Officials warning about the impacts of Hurricane Erin. We saw some 60 water rescues of people being pulled out by those dangerous rip currents.
This was the chaotic scene in Norwalk, Connecticut, as federal agents surrounded a red truck and arrested two brothers from Mexico.
My dad's truck was just left right in the middle of the road, windows smashed, glass on the floor.
Some in D.C. have taken to the streets in protest, with roughly 8 in 10 residents opposing Trump's federal takeover.
These are a bunch of crazy protesters.
A massive hurricane is moving up the East Coast at this hour. Hurricane Erin is now a Category 2 storm churning through the Atlantic. You can see just how big that storm is. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm MJ Lee. Rahel Solomon is off. It's Tuesday, August 26th.
Illinois top leaders firing back at President Donald Trump's plan to send the National Guard to Chicago.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
A federal judge in Maryland said she will soon order officials to keep Gilmar Abreu Garcia in the United States while he challenges his deportation.
Y por eso, I want to thank each and every one of you who marched, lift your voices, never stopped praying, and continued to fight in my name.
As a small armada of U.S. Navy ships heads towards Venezuela, embattled Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro says he's preparing for an invasion.
Yo me alisto. Enlist and join the ranks. Long live Venezuela.
Salma Abdelaziz, thank you so much for that update. The arms race for artificial intelligence is heading to the courtroom as Elon Musk files a lawsuit against Apple and the maker of ChatGPT. Those details next on CNN Early Start. Donald Trump is threatening to impose substantial new tariffs on countries that impose digital taxes. He says the taxes, which are imposed by dozens of countries worldwide, are designed to harm or discriminate against American technology. Supporters say digital taxes address corporate behemoths like Apple, Amazon, or Google, which pay little or no taxes to the countries where they operate. President Trump warned that anyone who doesn't show what he called respect to America and its tech companies should, quote, consider the consequences. Thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm MJ Lee in Washington, D.C., and CNN This Morning starts right now. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm MJ Lee. Rahel Solomon is off. It's Wednesday, August 27th, and straight ahead on Early Start.
President Trump says the deed is done. He has fired Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Donald Trump is expected to hold a large meeting at the White House to discuss the war in Gaza.
We do need to end this war because we need to bring the hostages back.
2 years in the making. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married.
Travis had set up this beautiful garden arrangement. He said, hey, before we go to dinner, we should have a little glass of wine. And that's when he got down and he popped the question.
President Trump is doubling down on his feud with the Fed. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is getting personal in season 2 of her Netflix show With Love, Meghan, which was released on Tuesday. In episode 3, she admitted to her guests that she knew she loved her now husband, Prince Harry, on their 3rd date. Of course, that date ended up lasting for 5 days as the two camped out in Botswana. The couple moved to the U.S. in 2020, and they now live in California with their 2 children. Meghan also talked about missing life in the UK, especially a radio station called Magic. And thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start this morning. I'm MJ Lee in Washington, D.C. CNN This Morning starts right now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our viewers joining us from the U.S. and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Audie Cornish. It's Thursday, August 28th.
The shots were right next to me. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me.
We don't need to simply be united in grief. We can be united in action.
At the UN Security Council, every member, with the notable exception of the United States, is calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Every day, more persons are dying as a result of malnutrition.
President Trump has talked about sending in the National Guard to help.
Will they be in some of the neighborhoods that we visited in this story here on the south and west sides of the city?
The presence of military will put our communities in a situation where they feel like they are incarcerated.
A somber morning across America in the wake of yet another. Thanks so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm Audie Cornish in Washington, D.C. Stick around because CNN This Morning starts right after the break.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm MJ Lee. Rahel Solomon is off. It's Friday, August 29th.
A memorial grows for the 2 students who were killed and the 18 others who were wounded.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life.
You can do that! You can do that!
Leonel Chavez captured his own arrest in Norwalk, Connecticut.
I don't feel home because all my life is in the U.S.
There is chaos at the CDC right now.
What makes us great at CDC is following the science. And so let's get the politics out of public health.
We are learning more about Wednesday's deadly shooting in Minnesota, including the names of the 2 children who were killed. 10-year-old Harper Moisky and 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel were identified Thursday by their families. And I know you've heard of the Super Bowl, but what about the Super Ball? It's the world's top freestyle football or soccer competition, and there are no goals here. Freestyle football is as much a performance art as it is a sport. Players balance and juggle a football, performing complex and skillful moves that are timed to music. Around 500 people from 40 countries competed this year, putting in plenty of practice for the Super Bowl. And thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm MJ Lee in Washington, D.C., and CNN This Morning starts right now.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Brian Abel. Rahel Solomon is off. It is the 1st of September, 5 a.m. on Labor Day on Early Start.
The FDA has approved the vaccines for a limited group of people.
Secretary Kennedy has undermined 60 years of progress. This isn't about Democratic or Republican. This is about fact versus fiction.
For the people of Minneapolis, all of our neighbors, we are in a very low place.
We are here to support this Christian community.
Let us plead God to stop the pandemic of arms, large and small, which infects our world.
It's not a question of fairness towards Republicans. It's a question of, principle and playing by the rules.
We have to fight fire with fire.
We're facing an existential threat to our democracy, and we need your help.
We'll get to all of those stories in just a moment, but first, lawmakers are savoring their last moments of peace before returning to Washington this week. Their August recess is about to end, then it's back to the political grind and issues they had to explain to constituents over the break, like the Jeffrey Epstein files saga and President Donald Trump's signature tax bill. But now Congress will have to deal with funding the government right away because the funding deadline is September 30th. Congress may also decide if it will impose new sanctions on Russia and how to address some of President Trump's latest firings. Meanwhile, the city of Chicago is preparing for a possible deployment of National Guard troops sometime this week. But the Illinois governor says no one in Washington has told him anything about it. Sources tell CNN potentially thousands of troops and hundreds of federal agents.
There's nothing new. This is all a charade.
It's like glamorizing this mysterious pedophile for what?
Heartbreaking and infuriating that justice has been delayed so long.
Chicago is a hellhole right now, but we're going in.
There is no emergency that warrants deployment of troops. He is insulting the people of Chicago.
It's about accountability. I had my day in court. Her disrespect for the court, I think, speaks to who she is.
I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl.
In the coming hours, some of the people who say they were abused by the sex offenders Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell will take the stage at two different events in Washington. It includes some who will be speaking out for the first time.
President Trump, you have so much influence and power. Please use that to help us.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
This is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
If you're on a boat full of cocaine or fentanyl or whatever, headed to the United States, you're an immediate threat to the United States. What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them.
The Florida Department of Health is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates, every last one of them.
With the U.S. Congress back from its August recess, pressure is building once again in Washington for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, including calls to release all documents related to the late sex offender. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Brian Abel. Rahel Solomon is off. It is Friday, September 5th, 5 a.m. here in Washington.
You're a charlatan. That's what you are.
You're just making stuff up.
Democrats were united in their criticism of Kennedy. There's a lot of questions about what comes next.
The military is planning to extend the National Guard order in Washington into December.
What's fair to say is my 100% focus is on exiting the emergency.
We're having a very good dialogue. We'll get it done.
Vladimir Putin now says he's willing to meet inside Russia, an offer Kyiv calls unacceptable.
We begin early start with a fiery hearing on Capitol Hill. U.S. senators grilling Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over his public health agenda. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you for being with us on this Monday. I'm Brian Abel. Rahel Solomon is off. It is September 8th, 5 a.m. here in Washington, D.C. and straight ahead on early starts.
Russia-Ukraine situation, we're going to get it done. But I am not happy with them. It's such a horrible waste of humanity.
Have you been arrested before?
No, never.
Never?
No. I don't do things like this.
So are they terrorists?
Well,
Do you see them as terrorists?
Chicago is a very dangerous place. We're going to make a decision as to where we go over the next day or two.
We're going to war with illegal aliens.
A man who's been selling flowers on this corner for months and months and months, he was taken from us today.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Those stories in just a moment, but first we begin this hour with breaking news out of Jerusalem. Emergency services there say at least 5 people have been killed and several injured in a shooting just hours ago. It happened along a major highway shortly after the morning rush hour.
The rule of law used to mean something. This is an attack on every person in this city and in every city in our country.
Sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals.
I don't know why Chicago isn't calling us saying, please give us help. The lunatic just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible.
What he really needed was inpatient mental health care.
I don't think the Epstein thing is the big thing. I don't know. Release it.
We have a culture of dehumanizing women in America.
A Supreme Court win for Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration means ICE raids could become more frequent across the U.S.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Thank you for joining us on CNN. I'm Brian Abel. It is 4 a.m. here in Washington, D.C., 2 a.m. in Utah, where the FBI is asking for the public's help amid an ongoing manhunt for the person who shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk. This is just one of the vigils honoring Kirk. They've been held in Utah, here in Washington, and around the country. The 31-year-old was a hugely successful Republican youth organizer, credited with helping President Trump in his re-election. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Brian Abel. Rahel Solomon is off. It is Friday, September 12th, 5 a.m. here in Washington, D.C., and straight ahead on Early Start.
The White House still reeling after the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
I'm really concerned for our country. We have a radical left group of lunatics out there.
Members of the MAGA movement are now talking about war.
We're in a war.
Good versus evil and an American tipping point.
The next person who starts to take his place is going to be much more far right.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We begin with the investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk. More than a day after the conservative activist was shot dead in Utah, authorities have yet to identify the gunman. They do have images of a suspect, and they are asking for the public's help in naming him. Surveillance footage shows him wearing a baseball cap, jeans, and a dark shirt emblazoned with an American flag. And then on his feet, Converse-style shoes with a white sole.
The problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left.
Are we going to try to make it better, or are we going to make it worse?
Back up.
Know the law, know your legal rights. Our children are not a threat. Immigrants are not.
The half of older workers have nothing in the bank as they face retirement.
The economy really concerns me. Affordability for people back home.
It's been 5 days now since the shocking murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and investigators have still not said what they think the gunman's motive was. Utah's governor confirms they are looking into a note left by suspect Tyler Robinson.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Brian Abel. We begin with breaking news out of Gaza. Israel launching its ground incursion into Gaza City. The Israel Defense Forces is calling on residents to evacuate, quote, the combat zone, saying it is destroying Hamas infrastructure. The sources say the operation is going to be phased and gradual at the beginning. The ground incursion was supposed to proceed only after the Israeli military forced the complete evacuation of the densely populated urban area. But so far, only a fraction of the population has left the city. Meanwhile, the Israeli defense minister posted this on social media today, saying in part, Gaza is burning.
Good morning. Welcome to all of our viewers joining us here in the United States and all around the world. I'm Polo, Sandoval, in for Rahel Solomon. It is Tuesday, September 23rd, 5 a.m. here in Atlanta. And here's what's coming your way here on Early Start.
Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians.
Understandable if people are confused by what they heard coming out of the White House regarding Tylenol and autism,
which is basically commonly known as Tylenol.
What happens to the TikTok algorithm had been one of the major outstanding questions surrounding this deal. This new ownership group, which is going to include at least some Trump allies, is going to be controlling what they see on the app.
Jimmy Kimmel, he is set to return to late-night television tonight after Disney reversed its decision to pull his show off the air. Hard to believe it's been less than a week since a temporary suspension. Welcome back to Early Start. If you were watching Monday Night Football, you know it did not disappoint with the Detroit Lions battling it out against the Baltimore Ravens last night. Both teams trading touchdowns early on, closing out the first half. They were tied at 14. But the Ravens coming out firing to start the second half. Quarterback Lamar Jackson finding Mark Andrews, you see him there in the end zone with what you could describe pinpoint and perfect accuracy. The Lions defense, they would clamp down on Jackson, and the Ravens piling up 7 sacks and forcing a costly fumble in the fourth quarter. Detroit running back David Montgomery going down to ice the game with a 31-yard touchdown. You see here more accuracy that eventually got the Lions to win 38-30 against the Ravens.
His wind back. That's a chin strap, not a nose strap. How is he breathing?
That hat is hanging on for dear life. Despite the loss, Ravens fans, they couldn't help but smile when graced by former Eagles center turned celebrity podcaster Jason Kelce. Here he is ahead of the game. He's suited up with the marching band uniform, and he played the team's fight song as well as the Monday Night Countdown theme song on sax. And with that, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on Early Start from the entire team and I. Stick around. I'm Polo Sandoval in Atlanta. We send you now to CNN This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Danny Freeman. Rahel Solomon is off today. It is Thursday, September 25th, 5 a.m. here in New York.
In Dallas, Texas, an ICE facility was opened fire upon by a violent left-wing extremist.
This has very real consequences. Your political opponents are not Nazis.
You have to condemn violent rhetoric and divisive rhetoric from the left and the right. Let's all tone it down.
We are wasting our time if we talk about and analyze Donald Trump here. We are not enough listening to one another. We are just shouting at one another.
Stop subway surfing. Ride safe, keep it cute, and keep it moving.
And we begin here this morning with the debate over gun violence in America once again taking center stage. Thanks so much for joining us here on Early Start. I'm Danny Freeman in New York. CNN This Morning starts right now.
I'm Becky Anderson at the Louvre, Abu Dhabi. This is CNN.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the U.S. and all around the world. I'm Brian Abel in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Becky Anderson in Abu Dhabi, where the time is Donald Trump unveils a plan to end the war in Gaza. And Benjamin Netanyahu approves but warns Israel is prepared to finish the job if Hamas rejects the plan. Plus, Washington is just hours away from a government shutdown as Republicans and Democrats accuse each other of bringing it on. US President Donald Trump says he's close to a peace agreement that will end the war in Gaza and secure the release of all the hostages. The Israeli Prime Minister says he has agreed to the 20-point plan, which includes Well, hello and welcome back. I'm Becky Anderson coming to you live from Abu Dhabi, where we are following the latest on what is our top story this hour. The US proposed peace plan to end the war in Gaza. Well, US President Donald Trump says he believes a ceasefire is now closer than ever after the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to the 20-point plan. The question now is, will Hamas...
Our balance sheet is looking very grim because the Democrats chose to shut the government down.
They've been firing federal employees all along. That's a shame.
The deadly events unfolding outside a synagogue on the holiest day of the year for the Jewish community.
Counter-terrorism policing has declared this as a terrorist incident.
If you thought that Taylor Swift was no longer on top of the cultural mainstream, think again. Her 12th studio album was just released.
Today, thousands of federal workers could end up with pink slips. The White House is threatening to make deep and permanent cuts to the federal workforce, which has been caught in the crosshairs of the government shutdown. The political stalemate is now on day 3.
To Portland, Oregon. We are not going to see National Guard on these streets for at least a few days because there are still legal wrinkles to come out.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is set to join a U.S. delegation in Israel today.
There are a raft of issues that still have to be addressed in order to ensure that this ceasefire actually results in the end of the war in Gaza.
Senate Democrats again blocked a Republican bill to reopen the government up until November 21st.
Republicans have done nothing to make life better for the American people.
We begin with a legal battle in Oregon over the deployment of the National Guard. A U.S. appeals court has now ruled that the Trump administration can send troops to Portland.
Now we are poised to see the longest government shutdown ever.
They refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and they're hurting their own constituents.
The president had spent a lot of time and attention talking about Nigeria.
Let me say this. Nigeria is a very complex country. The situation is very difficult and needs careful thought.
It is Election Day across the U.S., with races from New York to California serving as a referendum on the first 9 months of Donald Trump's second term as president.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Isabel Rosales. Thanks so much for being with us. It is Friday, November 7th, 5 a.m. right here in Atlanta.
That airlines slash flights.
They need to get this fixed. They're going to hurt a lot of innocent people.
Donald Trump clearly is feeling pressure
to bring the shutdown to an end.
There had been some glimmers of hope, glimmers of progress over the course of the last 24 to 48 hours, but all that has shifted.
Elon Musk now has a shot at becoming the world's first trillionaire.
This comes at a time when Tesla has been struggling with its sales, with increased competition in the electric vehicle market. Americans are bracing for chaos at the nation's airports, with more flights getting cut in the hours ahead because of the government shutdown. Airlines have canceled more than 800 flights so far today. That is 4 times.
We do not know what President Donald Trump intends to do in Venezuela.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro.
Rising food costs are making groceries more expensive for everyone.
For many families, they're still struggling to put food on their table.
We begin here in Washington, where the House is expected to vote on releasing the files of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein this week. And in a major shift, U.S. President Donald Trump is now encouraging Republican lawmakers to do so. He posted this on his social media.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the warm and great welcome that we have today.
They treated this visit like a state visit.
What is your message right now to U.S. President Donald Trump?
Refrain from any force against Iran.
A bill compelling the Justice Department to release all the Epstein files is on its way to the U.S. president's desk after months of infighting within the Republican Party. Donald Trump is expected to sign it later today after it won support from all but one Republican across both the House and the Senate. It's a remarkable turnaround for the president and Republican loyalists who had been attempting to block it.
Millions of Americans who rely on the Affordable Care Act and subsidies will see those enhanced subsidies go away because Congress is poised to leave town.
Their version costs taxpayers $350 billion. That is not the way to reduce the cost of health care.
Still no break in the manhunt for the gunman behind the deadly Brown University shooting.
If I'm being honest, this is probably the worst building for this to happen in.
We begin this hour in Washington with President Trump's primetime address to the nation. The commander-in-chief looking to prove the pollsters and the American people wrong with a forceful, sometimes angry defense of his economic policies.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Eleni Giokos. Thanks so much for being with us. It is Monday, December 22nd, and straight ahead on Early Start.
The Trump administration is on the defensive over bipartisan criticism of its release of Jeffrey Epstein documents.
Every step along the way, they have behaved as if there is material there they don't want to be public.
And the United States is pursuing a vessel in international waters near Venezuela.
It pressures Venezuela. The question for me is how much does it pressure Maduro himself?
Welcome to the show, and we have a lot to get through. Well, several lawmakers are accusing President Trump's Justice Department of flouting the law by releasing only some of the Epstein files. Since Friday, the agency has released thousands more documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And the U.S. Justice Department says a photo that includes images of President Trump has been restored to the Epstein files online database. It was one of more than a dozen photos that disappeared from the website on Saturday. Now there's a bipartisan charge on Capitol Hill demanding the DOJ release all the files in their entirety, or else it will hold the U.S. Attorney General in contempt of Congress. Top Republican Senator Rand Paul warned this could hurt Trump administration in the long run. That's it for Early Start. I'm Eleni Giokos in Dubai. CNN This Morning starts right now.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the U.S. and all around the world. I'm Rahel Solomon. It is Wednesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. It is 5 a.m. here in New York.
The Justice Department disclosing tens of thousands of additional pages of documents related to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't trust the redactions. I don't trust the DOJ. I don't trust this administration.
9-year-old Melody Buzzard's remains have been located, and her mother, Ashley Buzzard, has been arrested.
Melody deserved a far better life than she had.
Santa's got a new ride. In Venice, Santa's helpers were spotted rowing gondolas through the canals, and in Rome, riding bicycles past the Colosseum.
Merry Christmas from Jerusalem!
We begin this morning with the Justice Department's latest release of the Epstein files, which include many more mentions of Donald Trump than the previous release. His name appears in several documents, including...
I'm Richard Quest. Early start for Thursday, December the 25th. Christmas Day, 10 a.m. here in London, 5 in New York, and a very Merry Christmas wherever you are watching in the world. This is a special Christmas edition of Early Start. We begin at the Vatican, where it has been raining and where Pope Leo is holding his first Christmas Mass right now, first Christmas Mass as Pontiff. Some 7 months after being chosen to lead the Catholic Church, later this hour, he's expected and will deliver the famous Urbi et Orbi to the city and to the world, the address that he gives from St. Peter's Basilica. We'll have a live report on the Pope's Christmas message for the faithful and the world. That's coming to you in just 1 minute or two. Sorry about that.
Another one?
Why not? Still two for... Actually, no, here we go. Here's a what am I? Oh, this is hard. The more of these you take, the more appear behind you. What am I?
I have no idea.
The more of these you take, the more appear behind you. Steps! Thank you. As we continue, remembering a Christmas miracle from 75 years ago, we were talking about that, how a desperate escape from North Korea continues to fuel the searches. This is Christmas on CNN. I'm Richard Quest. Early start. And the stories we're watching for you. He's not there. Missing also are the Sussexes. They aren't there. They were in California. And the Mountbatten Windsor's children probably. Well, we don't know. We'll see more pictures. It's the King who arrives last, of course, for the morning service. They've already been once to church. I can just see there the Princess Royal and Vice Admiral Timothy Lawrence at the front there. You're very welcome. I know it's hard to take me seriously when I'm standing here with a silly hat, but I thank you for joining us on Early Start. I'm Richard Quest in London. My colleagues at CNN News Central start right now, because the news never stops, even on Christmas Day.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the U.S. and all around the world. I'm Rahel Solomon, live this morning in New York.
Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Fredricka Whitfield. Rahel Solomon is off. It's Monday, December 29th, 5 a.m. here in New York, and straight ahead on Early Start.
President Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky sounding optimistic, but neither of them announcing any major breakthroughs.
I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close.
We discussed all the aspects of the peace framework.
2 helicopters collided in mid-air.
Shouted out to my wife, I think those 2 guys just crashed. It's a little bit of a disbelief.
Event organizers billed a high-profile tennis exhibition match as a modern-day battle of the sexes.
U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are citing some progress, but no major breakthrough after the leaders held talks at Mar-a-Lago on efforts to end Russia's war on Ukraine. Good morning and welcome to our viewers joining us from the United States and all around the world. I'm Fredricka Whitfield in for Rahel Solomon. It's Wednesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 5 a.m. here in New York, and straight ahead on Early Start.
Health and Human Services saying it has frozen all child care payments to Minnesota into the state in the wake of new fraud allegations.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening.
Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to ring in the new year in Times Square.
Rest assured, the entirety of the New York City Police Department is going to be working between December 31st and January 1st.
Zohran Mamdani, the 34-year-old Democratic Socialist, will be sworn in as New York City's 112th mayor.
My brother, we are in City Hall now.
All right, our top story is in Minnesota, where the Trump administration says it is now withholding all. Oh, that's going to be so exciting. And of course, the folks bundling up there, just as they are in New York, as the countdown begins all around the globe for 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here in Early Start. I'm Fredricka Whitfield in New York. CNN This Morning starts right now.